Welcome back to Unarmored Talk, the show where we take the armor off and get real about leadership, resilience, and how we respond to life. I'm your host, Mario P. Fields, and today I'm joined by United States Marine Corps veteran, William Philyaw IV. I think I got that right. He came into the Marines in about May of 2020. And I'm going to tell you guys, he built this amazing reputation for being not just a devoted team player, but someone who takes one step at a time with faith, integrity, and a proactive mindset. William, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me, Mario. Thank you. I'm excited to hang out and have some fun today.
Yeah, no worries, everyone, and a happy belated 250.
Semper Fi.
Everyone, also, he's got global travel experience, diverse training, and he has worked alongside many people from all walks of life. And he works for this amazing company. Is based out of Chesapeake, Virginia, and is connected with Insight Global, which is an amazing company. He's doing a lot of things out there for veterans. Before we get into the show, we jump into the topic, if you will, thank you everyone for supporting the show. Thank you for sharing and listening on the YouTube channel and also in audio. Again, you guys know this for charity as we head towards year number 6, making an impact around the world. I just had a discussion with someone right before the show, and they said, hey, well, how do you measure impact? And I said, it's not return on investment. It's return on relationships and human impact. So all the previous guests, thank you, William. Thank you. And if you're listening, thank you. And if you're watching on a YouTube channel, thank you so much. Here we go. William, my man, can you tell the listeners and viewers a little bit more about yourself that I did not cover?
Yeah. So, kind of starting, at the beginning of my career, with deciding to join the Marine Corps. I was a smart kid going through high school. I had a scholarship to go to Texas Tech, and was super motivated about going to school, and wanted to be an electrical engineer. That was kind of my path. And went down to Paris Island, watched one of my best friends graduate, become a United States Marine. I said I need to do that, and I got super motivated and was not in great shape, and put myself through this program, got myself into. And, I forget what it's called. It's been, a few years now, but, the DEP program, there we go. Thank you. And so I got myself in the DEP program, worked my way into shape to go to boot camp, and decided to join the Marine Corps and leave my college aspirations behind. And the rest is kind of history there. And so, in my career, I spent three and a half years overseas. I was part of the Marine Security Guard group, where I provided some, diplomatic security to a few consulates and embassies overseas. So I spent about 16 months in the consulate in Adana, Turkey. So it's southeastern Turkey. And then I spent another 16 months in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. So it's on the west coast of Africa. Got to, learn a really cool skill sets, be able to communicate with, diplomats and higher level officials within the State Department, and really just grow my interpersonal skills. And so something that you can't really get in school, and so that was a great experience. And I was able to, reconnect with my wife, and we moved when I finished my tour in Africa, finished that up, and my wife and I moved to Jacksonville, North Carolina, where I got integrated into a infantry battalion, infantry platoon. I was squad leader for a little bit, ended up having an unfortunate, I still trying to figure out how it happened, but ended up tearing my labrum tendon in my hip, and had to be grounded. So it was very heartbreaking, and really, really kind of sucked. And so I ended up taking over as the Armory NCO. So I did that for, I was going through my treatment, trying to get surgery and stuff like that. So when I was going through that, everything was kind of up in the air, like, hey, what am I going to do with my life? What's the next steps? And I really had no idea because I wanted to do 20 years in the Marine Corps. I had a package in to go be a drill instructor. And I loved working with the Marine Corps. I think it's a great organization. And so I was kind of, stuck in this place of confusion. And so, that's where I really dug deep into my faith and because one of the things I live by is confusion does not come from God, right? And so that's something that I had to dig deep into and really figure out, okay, hey, what's next steps for my family and I? Is it
Mhm.
trying to rehab and get my hip right and stay in the infantry? Is it going to a different job? Like, so where do I need to go? And so I felt the Lord calling me saying, hey man, like I think it's time for you to, part ways with the Marine Corps and find a little bit more stability for your home and your family. We ended up
Mhm.
having our first baby, a little boy named Isaac. We had him in April of 24. And then, come Christmas of 24. So very quick turnaround. We found out that we were pregnant with our second. And so about that time, I was like, all right, I got to hear you. It's time for me to, part ways and provide some more stability.
Yeah.
So we moved back home and so home for me is Chesapeake, Virginia. It's kind of where I went to, it's where I went to high school, but I grew up in a military family as well. So we moved everywhere, but I really kind of dug roots here. And so when we moved back here, I was still kind of in that land of confusion of like, God, I heard you, where you call me to. I mean, I'm doing a SkillBridge internship, but I don't think this is where you need me. And it's kind of crazy. So I was working out at Crunch Fitness here in Virginia Beach and ended up meeting a dude who, I mean, truthfully was just a massive human. And so I wanted to learn from him and, uh, and so I ended up speaking with him and he got me connected with his son. Lo and behold, he's known my stepdad for like 10 years. And so we connected there um, and I ended up getting this job here at Insight Global and as I've been here, I started here in June, and from June to now, I've just realized that Insight Global, you know, is a very large corporation. I mean, they're almost a $5 billion organization, but they care so much for their people, not only
Mhm.
internally but externally as well. So Insight Global is a professional services and staffing organization, and so they just care to asking their consultants whether it's external or internal, hey, like how's your day, how is your Christmas. I mean, like just digging deep and learning these people's lives and livelihood and who they are as people, and they do the same thing for internal employees, and it just they make you feel welcome. And so we have this VetNet program that I was able to get plugged into. I'm actually getting ready to be part of the council where now I get to work with One World Health and help plan these amazing quote unquote mission trips to like the Nicaraguas and Honduras and help people in that way. And it's been a great transition to be able to keep the feeling of helping people. And I think Insight Global very much personifies that. And so it's
Right.
it's definitely been a call to action from God of saying like, hey, plug yourself in here, plug yourself in, get connected with VetNet, get connected with all the veterans in the area. I mean, I'm in Norfolk. It's one of the biggest. I mean, it is the biggest Navy base on the East Coast. Like, there's so much potential for me to help fellow veterans in this area, and not even just veterans, but active duty service members. Whether that's finding them jobs through our services, whether that's bringing them in here if they have business aspirations, or working on a private side, right? And helping them find Christ and giving them resources for that, and just being an ear to listen to. And I think there's just so much potential to be able to spread kindness and wisdom and love
Mhm.
and and just active listening across this area. And so that's kind of been my call to action these recent months, is to be able to be that person here in the area. So I know it's kind of long-winded, but that really is kind of just an overview of my adult career, and very short adult career that I hope to continue to grow.
No, we're very powerful. I mean, the journey from, going from Marines infantry to little Isaac comes in,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, oh, we're blessed with another child, and then like you said, to really find your faith and take those steps to now with Insight Global, making that global impact. And one of the key things you mentioned, and I've seen folks struggle with this, and that's military or just humans in general, is having faith to take a step, maybe in the
Hmm.
direction that there's some unknowns.
Yeah.
What was your experience when you had to take these steps in unknown directions,
Mhm.
and how did faith play a part?
Yeah, for sure. And so, kind of going back, right? I mean, from 17 years old to about 20, I was that what you see of a Marine, right? That like partier, that drinker, right? I mean, and like, and that's kind of the stigma that the young enlisted Marines carry, and that's not even just the Marine Corps, but just across armed services as a whole, is like that's kind of what we carry. And so I was living that, and I at the time I had no idea that God, had his hand in these things, and he led me to be able to. I mean, honestly, truthfully, I felt that he was the one forcing me to take those steps. But once I learned to just, okay, listen, right, take those steps. I took that step in Turkey, and 3 months later he reconnected me with my wife, and so now her and I are married, and then I took that step again, trying to figure out, okay, hey, I got hurt. I had this envision of my career going 20 years in the Marine Corps, retiring from the Marine Corps. I like that was my plan. And um, I mean, you've been in, Sergeant Major, retired, right? So there's that saying of, you know, your plans go down the drain once the first round's fired. And so, I mean, truthfully, once I got hurt, like that was the first round fired. My plan just was gone.
Mm.
And so, and so I had to take that step of faith again, and just move. Yes, I had family here locally, but I had no job lined up. I had nothing lined up, right? Like I was like, all right, well, here we go, and so we lived with my pops, for about 7 months, and you know took this job with the intent of knowing that I'm only going to be making this not great salary, for a while. I mean, like it's, there's potential to make really good money here, and be able to provide. But I mean, I don't have a degree. Like everybody starts off somewhere. And so I had to take that step, and I took that step, and God blessed my family and I with, fiscal blessings, and, we've been able to, provide, and have a really beautiful home. And so as I continue to take those steps, I'm learning, I'm continue to gain that knowledge of why question, right? Just continue to listen, and accept instruction, right? There's a verse, Proverbs 19:20. It says, accept instruction, and in the end you will be wise, right? Um and so I actually have it tattooed on my chest above my heart, because I take that to heart. And so, and as I've continued to learn and grow and take that advice, and take those steps, my life has just gotten better. My marriage has gotten better. I'm learning how to become a better father, better businessman, right? And grow my skill sets, just, you know, across a wide scale, right? And so it's been beautiful to see in my own life, and it translates, it's translated in my wife's life, and I'm just excited, like, you know, teach
Yeah.
my son that, and so it's been really cool.
You guys heard of the power of steps with faith, and then the power of steps without faith. It's your choice. And like William said, you can be rigid, it's your choice. But like he said he started to listen. He leaned on his network, his family, and most importantly, his faith, and look at where he's at today. And I love how you mentioned Proverbs, because the other thing that I learned recently in Proverbs, it says, "Those who don't, you're a fool." So I said, so if I start calling you, myself, or anyone, you're a fool. No, it's not. It's not Mario. It's usually raw material called words that call you a fool. It's in Proverbs.
Yeah.
Um, I could have you on this show. You guys know the deal, how Unarmored Talk works. As soon as we start, it is over. But I could have you on this show forever, but I don't want to do that to you. Um, if someone, before I get to that, well, before I get to my last kind of question, how can people find you real quick? LinkedIn or
Yeah,
how?
yeah. So I do have a LinkedIn. So William Philyaw the fourth. So I am on LinkedIn. And so that's a great way to connect with me. If you want to just have an ear to talk to, feel free to connect there. If you're looking for a job, I absolutely can help you there too. So, LinkedIn's a great resource, and I'd love to share my phone number, to you via LinkedIn when we connect.
Nice. Now here's the last one, my friend. Looking back, if you could stand next to yourself and can whisper a piece of wisdom in your ear,
Yeah.
what would you say if you had to pick something?
Yeah, that's a hard one because I would say a lot. Truthfully, I'd probably go punch my old self in the mouth, but you
We got to
know,
whisper something.
yeah. So I mean, I'd probably be a little bit aggressive to my younger self,
Hell yeah.
but you know, I don't know. That's a hard one. I think it all stems back to, like, I mean, because it's hard for me to think of that because I know that everything that's happened has happened for a reason.
Hmm.
And so, it's just, I would say, find your faith faster,
Ah,
find it faster, start listening quicker, and make those decisions to listen immediately. you know because my life would probably be exponentially different, if I had done that.
William, you're amazing. And guys, if you haven't picked up on, if you were taking notes, he said, listen, listen about multiple times. And that's a choice unless you're insane. William, it's been great. My best to you and your family. And we'll talk soon, man.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Mario. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Be safe, man.
All
Semper
right.
Fi, bro.